Oh, hey, I'm Matt with ABC Acres. You caught me harvesting holy basil. Today we're going to take a look at how we're dehydrating this holy basil with a handmade solar dehydrator. But before we take a look at that, if you don't know the finer points about harvesting basil, you should check out this video, because when you're harvesting basil, proper pruning techniques, you'll end up with even more basil than you started with, and it's truly a gift that keeps on giving. But let's go take a look at our solar dehydrator. So this is our solar dehydrator. We'll take a look at kind of the main components in a second, but it's a slightly modified version of a design you can find on Mother Earth News. If you Google Mother Earth News solar dehydrator, I'm sure you'll find the basic layout. But basically what we have going on here is we have a solar collector, and then the drying racks are in here. And there's a screen down at the bottom down there. So anything in this solar collector, any air in there is warming up. We know that hot air rises, it comes up into this box, and then we can adjust the airflow by opening or closing these vents right here. You feel warm air coming out. So it's creating an airflow, and that's what's going to dehydrate your herbs or food. And what's really cool about this one, it's solar collective or solar powered. It's passive solar. You don't need any solar panels or anything like that. We used scrap greenhouse material for the solar collection, the heat collector. We did make a slight modification from the Mother Earth News guidelines, and we'll show you that in a second, but it works really well. We actually had this, my wife and I, when we had our farm in Kentucky, and we found that in a 24-hour cycle, we're able to fully dehydrate comfrey leaves. And if you've ever dehydrated comfrey, you know that with the thick stems, it can actually take a lot of energy and a longer time to do it in an electric dehydrator. So to be able to do it in a place like Kentucky with 80% humidity, outside with nothing but the power of the sun, that's awesome, especially if you're taking advantage of all the herbs that you're using to plant in polycultures. A lot of those herbs are highly medicinal, so whether you're making your own medicines or making medicines for market, being able to dehydrate those herbs properly, and you want them in a warm place with a lot of air ventilation but out of direct sunlight, well, this is the perfect thing. It's also good for, you know, dehydrating tomatoes or anything like that that you want to preserve for later eating. But let's take a quicker look at some of the components that make this a functional tool. All right, sorry, I'm not going to be in the shot here, but you can see here's our rack system. This is where we dehydrate the herbs. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It can hold 10 racks. I've got 4 racks of holy basil in there now. I'll be going and harvesting more. But as the warm air comes out of the collection box and travels up through here, it escapes through either there or this backside. You only want one of those vents open, one side or the other. And that's kind of up to you. We put them on both sides just because, and your directional winds might affect that. The one major modification we made from the Mother Earth News plans is they called to just have this bottom part painted black. We opted to put this, it's basically what you would put over your windshield to deflect the sun out. It's, you know, silver, it's insulated. We put that down, and then we have this black wire mesh that is, or we painted it black with a low VOC, no VOC paint to aid and hold even more heat throughout the day. That way at night, it's still working fine. You can see at the bottom there, down through the grass, there should be a screen down there, especially if you're going to preserve food. I actually accidentally kicked the screen through the other day moving it, and I'm in the process of repairing it. But that said, if some insects get in, they're not going to damage the holy basil. They shouldn't be attracted to the holy basil at this point. And that is a quick view of our solar dehydrator. As always, if you have any comments or questions, you know what to do with them. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, happy growing.